The movie takes us to the Middle East, 1997, where a helicopter lands at a military camp. Four men have just captured an extremist leader. One of them, Harry Hart, codenamed Galahad, threatens to shoot the hostage until he gets answers. But things take a dark turn when the man lifts his head, revealing a grenade pin in his mouth. His teammate Lee sacrifices himself to shield his teammates from the blast. As the dust settles, Harry's other companions, Merlin and Lancelot, remove their masks. They all express their admiration for Lee's heroic act. Later, Harry welcomes Lancelot as he officially becomes a member of their elite team. The scene shifts to Harry visiting Lee's widow Michelle. He delivers the heartbreaking news and presents her with a Medal of Valor, engraved with a special number on the back. Harry explains that if Michelle ever needs help, she can identify herself by calling the number and saying, "Oxford's not brogues."
I don't want your help. I want my husband back.
Michelle refuses the medal, so Harry turns to Lee's young son Eggsy and hands it to him instead. Fast forward 17 years to Argentina, where Professor Arnold appears to be held hostage by a group of thugs who are waiting for their boss. There's a knock at the door. When they open it, they find Lancelot standing there. What follows is a display of incredible skill. Lancelot takes out the first guy instantly, using him as a human shield while dispatching the others with perfect timing and some impressive jiu-jitsu moves. But just when it seems like the coast is clear, another knock comes. As Lancelot approaches the door, he's brutally cut in half by a woman with the blade prosthetics called Gazelle. She covers the body and opens the door for her boss, Valentine. Together with Gazelle, Valentine takes Professor Arnold and leaves. Back in London, Harry returns to a tailor shop, the secret front for the Kingsman intelligence agency. We learn that Kingsman was founded by British elites who lost their heirs in World War I. Inside, he meets with Merlin and their boss, Arthur. Using special glasses for a virtual meeting, they mourn Lancelot's death.
Lancelot.
With Arthur expressing the need to find someone to replace their lost friend. Merlin enters, revealing that the person responsible for their loss is connected to terrorist incidents in Uganda and Chechnya. The scene shifts to Eggsy, now in his early 20s, living in a rundown apartment with his mom, her new husband Dean, and his newborn baby sister. Life isn't easy for them. They're barely scraping by. One night at a pub, Eggsy and his two friends run into Dean's thugs. They threaten Eggsy to leave, but he doesn't go empty-handed. He swipes one of the goons' car keys on his way out. What follows is a wild joyride with his friends, pulling stunts. When the car's owner comes outside, they speed off, only to run into the police. Eggsy reverses through several blocks until he crashes into another car. In true hero fashion, Eggsy tells his friends to bail while he handles things alone, then rams straight into the police car. Of course, this lands him at the police station. A detective threatens him with 18 months behind bars unless he rats out his friends.
Now you can start giving me some names of the boys you were with, or you go down.
But Eggsy, he doesn't say a word. After the detective leaves, Eggsy pulls out that medal from his childhood and dials the number on the back. He remembers Harry's code phrase,
Oxford's not brogues.
but the woman on the line hangs up. Minutes later, Harry himself shows up to bail him out. Harry takes him to a nearby pub to catch up, but Dean's thugs show up looking for trouble. Harry politely asks them to leave, but the head thug disrespects him, calling him Grandpa.
You're looking for another rent boy. They're on the corner of Smith Street.
Big mistake. Harry walks to the front door, locks it, and delivers a classic line.
Manners maketh man.
What follows is pure action gold. Harry hooks a glass with his umbrella, taking out the main thug before absolutely demolishing the rest, even making them fight each other. Eggsy watches in amazement as this gentleman turns into a one-man army. Before leaving, Harry makes Eggsy promise to keep quiet about what he just saw.
Best of luck with everything.
Back home, Dean confronts Eggsy about the stolen car. When his mom tries to help, she's forced to back down. Through a microphone Harry planted, Harry hears the chaos. Harry's voice comes through a speaker, threatening to report Dean's numerous illegal activities unless he lets Eggsy go. Running from Dean's thugs again, Eggsy follows Harry's directions to the tailor shop. There, Harry offers him a chance to become a Kingsman agent. With nothing to lose, Eggsy accepts and joins Harry in a secret underground facility, meeting other recruits in a shuttle. Merlin shows them their sleeping quarters and drops a bombshell. This is the world's most dangerous job interview, and only one person will become the next Lancelot. The recruits introduce themselves: Roxy, Charlie, Digby, Rufus, and Amelia. It's clear that Eggsy, with his street background, stands out among these posh candidates. While Roxy becomes his friend, the others give him a hard time.
Did you serve me at the McDonald's in Winchester service station?
That night, as the recruits sleep, their room starts flooding. Everyone except Eggsy tries to breathe through toilet pipes. Eggsy, thinking differently, swims to a glass window and starts punching until it breaks, releasing the water into another room. There stands Merlin, who's been watching the whole time. He praises Eggsy's initiative, but reveals they all failed the first test.
You all forgot the most important thing: teamwork.
They didn't work together, resulting in Amelia's death. The reality of the situation hits them hard. It means all is for real. Meanwhile, Harry meets with the freed Professor Arnold to question him about his kidnapping. Suddenly, Arnold screams in agony before his head explodes. When two thugs burst in, Harry is forced to pull a grenade and jump out the window. The explosion leaves him injured and comatose. Valentine, learning of Arnold's death, is pleased his failsafe worked and decides to investigate who's looking into their operation. In the next scene, Valentine and Gazelle dine with the Scandinavian Princess Tilda and Prime Minister. Valentine pitches his climate change solution. While the Prime Minister agrees, Tilda thinks he's insane
You are completely crazy.
and tries to call guards. Gazelle kidnaps her and kills the guards with her blade prosthetics. The Prime Minister gets implanted with a device behind his ear, and Valentine welcomes him to the plan. Meanwhile, part of the training involves each recruit getting their own puppy. Eggsy gets stuck with a little pug that barely listens to his commands. But over time, they grow close, and Eggsy names him JB. Harry recovers and congratulates Eggsy on making it to the final 6. Merlin shows them footage of how the professor died from Valentine's implant. Eggsy tells them about Valentine's latest announcement. He's offering free SIM cards worldwide with unlimited service forever. They also discover Valentine's been kidnapping international leaders and celebrities. Harry decides to investigate, so Merlin creating a high-profile alias to get kidnapped like the princess. At Valentine's party, it turns out Valentine canceled the whole event because of Harry's generous donation.
Anybody willing to donate that much deserves their own dinner.
Gazelle enters with food as they prepare to eat McDonald's. Harry and Valentine have a loaded conversation about climate change and Professor Arnold. They trade spy movie jokes.
Oh, when I was a kid, that was my dream job. Gentleman spy.
Both knowing exactly who the other is. After Harry leaves, Valentine reveals he planted a nano-tracker in Harry's drink, but Harry didn't leave empty-handed. He got intel about Valentine's connection to a church group. Meanwhile, the Scandinavian princess refuses Valentine's terms, joining hundreds of other VIPs under his custody. News shows thousands lining up worldwide for the free SIM cards. The next day, the remaining recruits face their mission, land on a target without being detected by radar, fail, and you're out. When the green light hits, they all jump, with Roxy conquering her fears to follow Eggsy's lead. The team's having a blast, getting close to each other mid-air until Merlin drops a bomb with a smile. Someone doesn't have a parachute.
No parachute! Help!
Eggsy tries to get everyone to buddy up, but some recruits decide they'd rather fail than risk death. One pulls their chute, and Charlie follows right after. Now, it's just Eggsy and Roxy. As they pass through the radar-free zone, Merlin's sweating bullets. Eggsy tells Roxy to pull her chute, and they both land on target. Merlin kicks out 3 candidates, but lets Charlie and our duo stay in the game. Eggsy demands answers about the tampered chute. Merlin pulls Eggsy's cord, revealing a working parachute. It was all psychological. The final 3 get photos of their next target, seduce a girl at a nightclub, but their drinks are spiked and they pass out. Eggsy wakes up tied to train tracks. An interrogator tries to squeeze info about Kingsman and Harry out of him.
Kingsman worth dying for.
But Eggsy keeps his mouth shut, even with a train bearing down on him. Just when it looks like game over, he's pulled under the tracks as the train passes overhead. He made it. Harry shows up to tell him he and Roxy passed the test, but Charlie cracked and got sent packing. Meanwhile, Eggsy gets taken shopping. Harry wants to hook him up with a bulletproof suit, but instead takes him to Fitting Room 3, which turns out to be an insane arsenal. We're talking weapon shoes, combat umbrellas, the whole 9 yards. But when they're heading out, they run into Valentine shopping for his own suit. They trade some thinly veiled shots at each other until Valentine bounces, but Harry managed to plant a bug on him. At the same time, Valentine's wrapping up, installing his biometric locks, ready to start testing his project. For their final test, Eggsy and Roxy must shoot their dogs. Eggsy can't bring himself to shoot his pug. He doesn't want John Wick coming after him. While a gunshot rings out from Roxy's room, Arthur sends Eggsy home for failing, forcing him back to his old life. His mom hugs him, but seeing her black eye, Eggsy's had enough. He confronts Dean for a one-on-one fight, but Dean's crew shows up. Suddenly, his taxi drives itself to Harry's house. Harry expresses disappointment in Eggsy's failure, revealing the gun was empty. He also shares that Amelia never drowned. She's a Kingsman in Berlin. Meanwhile, Roxy becomes the new Lancelot. Harry gets a call from Merlin about suspicious gatherings at a church, so he heads to Kentucky to investigate. At the church, Harry attends a sermon where the pastor rants about his hatred for the government. Miles away, Valentine and Gazelle prepare to activate the signal for everyone in the church with his SIM cards. A woman screams at Harry and he shoots her. He starts unloading all his bullets. Everyone in the church starts fighting and shooting, trying to end each other. But Harry, he goes completely berserk. Merlin can't stop him, while Valentine celebrates his SIM card's effectiveness. Valentine wants Harry dead, but Harry's no pushover. He keeps shooting, even throwing grenades. Harry is the last one standing, surrounded by bodies. Both Eggsy and Merlin are stunned. Harry walks outside to find 2 guns pointed at him. Valentine explains that the SIM card signal makes those implanted become aggressive. He then pulls out a gun and shoots Harry in the head. Eggsy screams in horror. Later, he heads to the tailor shop to meet with Arthur. At the meeting, Arthur mentions Harry's recording of Valentine's confession and pours drinks. But Eggsy spots a telltale implant scar behind Arthur's ear. He's working with Valentine. Then comes the shocking reveal of Valentine's master plan, using his SIM cards to cause mass genocide, eliminating most of Earth's population to end climate change. Valentine believes humans are Earth's virus, and killing most of them will help the future.
The result is the same. The virus dies.
Arthur raises a toast, but when he tries to poison Eggsy's drink with his pen, he ends up dead instead. Turns out Eggsy had switched their glasses while distracting Arthur with a painting on the wall. Eggsy takes this new information to Merlin and Roxy, and the 3 work together to foil Valentine's plan. Roxy launches into space with 2 balloons to fire a missile at one of Valentine's satellites. Merlin and Eggsy break into Valentine's headquarters, where Valentine is hosting a party for everyone involved in his plan. Eggsy uses Arthur's invitation to sneak in. Passing by Princess Tilda's cell, Eggsy makes a cheeky deal. If he saves the world, she'll give him more than just a kiss. She agrees.
If you save the world, we can do them, asshole.
Meanwhile, Roxy reaches the satellite, but 1 balloon pops from the altitude. She manages to launch the missile just before her 2nd balloon bursts, sending her plummeting back to Earth. Luckily, she deploys her parachute in time. Back at the base, Charlie appears and holds a knife to Eggsy's throat, but Eggsy zaps him with his signet ring. He fights his way back to the plane, dodging Valentine's guards. The missile hits the satellite, but there's a catch. Valentine has a backup satellite close. Valentine activates the signal using a biometric scanner Merlin can't hack. Chaos erupts worldwide. London, Rio, New York, people beating each other senseless. Even Michelle tries to break into the bathroom to kill her daughter. Eggsy tries to run back to stop Valentine, but gets cornered by guards. In a shocking twist, Merlin triggers the implants, making everyone's heads explode like fireworks. Guards and world leaders alike. Eggsy confronts Valentine and Gazelle. He shoots at them, forcing Valentine's hand off the scanner and interrupting the transmission. Gazelle smashes through glass to end Eggsy. They fight until Eggsy's poison shoe blade wounds her. In a brutal finale, Eggsy rips off Gazelle's prosthetic leg and impales Valentine with it, ending him instantly. All signals permanently fail. Merlin and Roxy congratulate Eggsy on saving Earth. True to his word, Eggsy visits Tilda's cell with champagne for their celebration. The movie closes at the pub with Michelle and Dean. Eggsy struts in wearing a sharp suit, telling his mom his new job comes with perks, including a new home for her and his sister. When Dean's thugs try to intimidate him, Eggsy walks to lock the front door, echoing Harry's words, "Manners maketh man." The film ends as he hooks a glass with his umbrella and launches it at Dean's face.